Well, welcome back to another one of my weekly webcasts. You haven't heard from me this way during the month of August because Congress has been in a district work period, and I've been holding town meetings. For instance, I had about 20 different town meetings or listening sessions or opportunities to ask questions. And then I also held meetings in other counties taking around ambassadors from 57 different countries coming to Iowa on my 12th biennial ambassadors tour to acquaint ambassadors in the embassies in Washington, D.C. with Iowa so that Iowa can benefit from additional business for exports, because these embassies know more about Iowa than maybe they otherwise would, and it's been very successful. Then also I had the opportunity just for one day to hold EPA administrators from the Environmental Protection Agency here in Washington to come to Iowa to get better acquainted with agriculture and how an understanding of how their regulations and rules can negatively affect agriculture. There's some very important rulemaking now being done by the Environmental Protection Agency, and if it isn't done right, or sometimes even if it is done right, it can be very harmful to agriculture than otherwise would be the case. So having EPA officials understand to a greater extent the impact of their rulemaking on family farmers. So I thank all the people involved with Iowa State University, BioCentury Farm, the Kimberly family, Maxwell, the biodiesel plant in Newton, and other people that participated in this process. I thank them very much for explaining to these EPA personnel the real life of farmers and agribusiness. I also thank Ms. McCarthy and Ms. Ogay for coming to Iowa to spend time and learn about how agriculture operates and how their regulations may impact. This week we have the tourism bill before the United States Senate, and that bill will probably take up most of this week. And then I always answer questions that have been emailed to me, so I'm going to go now to a question from Linda at Storm Lake. Does the appointment of government czars violate the constitutional powers given to the president? If they are involved with carrying out policy, the answer is yes. If they're just advisors to the president, probably not. But I think that there's a feeling that a good number of these czars are unconstitutional, not from the standpoint that they're appointed, but from the standpoint that they haven't been sent up for confirmation by the United States Senate. And in and of itself, that would not be a factor, except only those officials in the executive branch of government that are confirmed by the United States Senate can be called to the United States Senate for Q&A and what we call government oversight. In other words, the checks and balances of government, in which the Congress is always overseeing things that the executive branch of government does to make sure that laws are followed. If these people are involved with policy, they should have to answer to Congress, and they're not doing that, and consequently the ones that should be confirmed by the Senate, I would take a position, are unconstitutional. I ask you to tune in next week to our webcast, and in the meantime, please email me your questions. And those questions that I don't get answered, like now, I just answered 2 questions, we will answer the other email in writing.